Good day everyone, Wiz here, and we will start our brand new series, the Accounting Series. Our topic for today is the history of accounting. Our objectives? To learn the brief history of accounting, to know where some of the accounting terminologies came about, to understand the importance of accounting. Our scope for today: Ancient History of Accounting, Period of the Roman Empire, Medieval and Renaissance periods, and finally, Modern Professional Accounting. Ancient History. The history of accounting goes a long way to the ancient civilizations. More than 7,000 years ago, accounting may be used in the temples of ancient Mesopotamia for their periodic expenditures and the received goods. Taxation and trading may be the key reason why accounting is used in times to maintain the economy of these temples. The accounting must be closely related to the developments of writing, counting, and money. In this period, the ancient people is in the process of transition from concrete to abstract counting, using symbols as a means of counting goods, rather than the goods themselves. Another practical application of primitive accounting in this period is to know whether there is a surplus in the herded animals or harvested crops. This is an early form of reporting an income or loss. In the Roman Empire, accounting was in its early form of journalizing, as evidenced in Res Gesti Divi Augusti, or the deeds of the divine Augustus. It was to account of what happened to the Roman people during the stewardship of Augustus. It includes goods distributed to the people, grants of land and money to army veterans, subsidies to aerarium or treasury, building temples, religious offerings, and expenditures on theatrical shows and gladiatorial games. The military personnel of the Roman army in the fort of Vindolanda also recorded cash, commodities, and transactions which they could compute revenues daily. Another early accounting records, such as the Heroninos archive, are found in Roman Egypt, a huge collection of papyrus documents named after Heroninos because he was a manager at that time. These documents are used in running a large private estate. The contents had a complex and standardized system of accounting, followed by local farm managers. Day-to-day transactions, payment of workforce, crop production, sales, and expenditures are all summarized yearly on a papyrus scroll. Medieval and Renaissance periods. The double-entry bookkeeping was pioneered in Jewish community of the early medieval Middle East. In Old Cairo, for example, Jewish bankers used the double-entry bookkeeping system years earlier than the known usage of Italy. The records were found in Cairo, Geniza, dating back from the 11th century AD. Medieval Europe moved to a monetary economy in the 13th century, and the merchants widely used bookkeeping to keep track of multiple transactions financed by bank loans. The term debit comes from the Latin word of debitum, which means what is due, and the credit comes from creditum, which means something entrusted to another. The earliest evidence of full double-entry bookkeeping appears in Farolfi ledger 1299 to 1300 of the Giovanno Farolfi and Company, a firm of Florentine merchants, and these merchants acted as moneylenders of the Archbishop of Ahola. But the oldest complete double system is the Messari accounts in the city of Genoa in 1340. It contains debits and credits journalized in bilateral form and carry forward balances from the preceding year. Aragosan economist Benedetto Cotrugli's 1458 treatise De la Mercatura e del Mercante Perfetto, or of Commerce and the Perfect Merchant, contained the earliest known manuscript of a double-entry bookkeeping system, but was officially published 115 years later in 1573. Luca Pacioli's Summa de Arithmetica, Geometrica, Proportioni et Proportionalita in early Italian for review of arithmetic, geometry, ratio, and proportion was first printed and published in 1494, which include a 27-page treatise on a bookkeeping particularis de computis et scripturis in Latin for details of calculation and recording. The book that Pacioli wrote was primarily for a reference text and a source of pleasure, which contains math puzzles of the merchants. Luca Pacioli, aware of Cotrugli's efforts, credited him with the origination of the double-entry bookkeeping system. Pacioli saw the necessity of accounting for the merchants because it provides information from the business, which allows the merchant to evaluate and form a decision based on the information. Pacioli recommends the Venetian method of double-entry bookkeeping, and it contains memorial, in Italian for memorandum, journal, in Italian for journal, and quaderno, in Italian for ledger. This system minimizes the merchant's risk of theft by their employees and agents. Modern professional accounting. Accounting in modern times is the product of centuries of thought, custom, habit, action, and convention. There are two concepts formed in the current state of the profession. One is the development of the double-entry bookkeeping system in the 14th to 15th century, and the other is the professionalization in the 19th and 20th centuries. The modern profession of the chartered accountant originated in Scotland in the 19th century. In July 1854, the Institute of Accountants in Glasgow petitioned Queen Victoria for a royal charter. The petition was signed by 49 Glasgow accountants. They argued that the profession of accountancy had long existed in Scotland as a profession, and the profession requires a varied group of skills such as mathematical, legal, and other skills that maintain honest business. The Edinburgh Society of Accountants, 1854, the Glasgow Institute of Accountants and Actuaries, 1854, and the Aberdeen Society of Accountants, 1867, were each granted a royal charter almost from their inception. Britain's Industrial Revolution became a turning point where the demand for a more proficient accountants increased as more complex transactions emerged. London became the financial center of the world, and the accountant became an integral part of the business and financial system. The local professionals in England united to form the Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales in 1880 to improve their status and to combat criticism of low standards. This established the standards of conduct and examinations for admission. Members of this institution were authorized to use FCA or Fellow Chartered Accountant for a firm partner, and ACA or Associate Chartered Accountant for qualified staff. In the USA, The American Institute of Certified Public Accountants was established in 1887. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe. May you pass your exams, and thank you for watching.